vă aflați la Urban Groovy, episodul numărul 2. O grămadă de discuții pe care le facem backstage. Guest star-ul din această seară e alături de noi. Salutăm și pe Promo, l-avem și pe DJ Andu alături de noi și l-avem și pe DJ Dox. Să intrăm live și să nu mai lungim discuțiile aici. Hi everybody! This is the I think most popular hip-hop show in Bucharest right now, because we have a lot of friends who are doing other hip-hop shows and we're saluting them too. We got DJ Andu, we got DJ Dox, and we got, with great honor, we embrace Promo from the LoopTroop, and thank you for accepting the invite.
Yeah, of course. I'm happy.
And yeah, we are happy also that we can have a dialogue with you, especially that we collaborated last year. You had an LP coming up. It's called The Art of Losing.
Yeah.
I want to elaborate on that also. But first of all, tell us how you guys doing during the quarantine, because we heard that Sweden is not on a lockdown.
Yeah, there are no like real hard laws or anything to lock it down. They just give recommendations, and I don't know. I've been following it. You know, I always do as the authorities tell me. No, but I'm in school. I'm studying, so I was in Gothenburg doing the studying over online. So I felt really isolated, so I went down to the south of Sweden instead. I have a house down here, so I'm just here now, and I can be outside. You know, it's close to nature and it's pretty nice. So
that's what everybody wants in this period of time, to go into the nature and relax.
Yeah.
But speaking of which, we are finding ourselves into a terrible lockdown right now, and
in Bucharest or the whole Romania.
in the entire Romania, and actually in the entire Europe. Because only Germany, they said they're gonna relax the measures. But I think you were kind of visionary when you wrote a song on your 2019 LP that is called Global Permanent Curfew. What were you thinking when you wrote that?
I've just read the book by Giorgio Agamben about the curfew, how the curfew is made permanent, and I think he's referring a lot to the war on terror, that kind of curfew. But so this is really. I haven't thought so much about it actually since the
now it's becoming
started.
real. This is why I asked you, because it's becoming real. Your song is kind of visionary right now, because he predicted that.
Yeah, well, it was inspired by other philosophers, but and it's strange because this is almost like at least in Sweden, it's like a self-imposed quarantine. It's not really a curfew from the outside, but I guess in other countries it's different.
But you guys are respecting the social distance, and when you go to the shops to buy groceries and whatever, you like stick to the distance, right?
I can't speak for all people here in this country. I actually heard that a lot of people are sitting too close at the cafes because Swedish people are like, oh, it's springtime, it's sunshine out. So I don't know how everything is going.
But do you guys have any show in this period of time? Because in Europe everything is closed. You can't do any show.
We have no shows.
Okay.
We had some booked for this month, or it was promo shows actually, but they've been postponed until maybe November. We'll see. Hopefully it's better then.
Okay, so speaking of your latest material, why if you can elaborate on that and can tell us, why did you call it The Art of Losing?
because I've like my whole life I've just been thinking that I've been living by the motto that anything in life that I want to achieve, I can do if I just work hard. And then, you know, the last couple of years, I've been like really trying with a relationship, and it didn't seem to matter how much or how hard I worked. It just didn't work out. So I was thinking like, okay, so some things you just gotta let go. You just gotta learn how to lose in a hopefully constructive way that, you know, you can grow from the loss. So that was the personal perspective for me, but I guess like it can be a universal.
Of course, everybody found themselves in that song, because you are saying that we don't have to take things for granted. Sometimes you might lose, and you have to be prepared.
Yeah, and learn. For me, it was important to learn some kind of humbleness, because I mean, it's really good to be sure of yourself, and it's really good to think like, okay, if I just work hard, I can achieve this. But the other side of that is sometimes it can be lack of humility, and you need to be able to combine those qualities, I guess.
Thanks for your answer. Maybe you recognize those two guys, I hope. Docs, you surely recognize, and Andu is, I think, is the biggest fan that you have in Romania. He's like mostly inspired by you. He did mixes, he did remixes and everything. He's a true fan. So,
the vinyl, right,
okay, you see it has the vinyl.
Nice to meet you.
I have 2 CDs actually. Oh, The White Man's Burden. This is when we did the first interview. We had the same show with the same name, and we interviewed you. We were staying in a Ibis hotel, and we came to your hotel and interviewed you about the White Man's Burden LP. Yeah. We have a picture. I'm gonna send it to you lately. Maybe I can find that. I was very inspired by your group and your music and your solo LPs. And now I think I should let Docs explain to everybody how LoopTroop got popularized in Romania.
Okay, thank you, my brother Bogdan. Actually, back in the days, I just had it on Romania MTV, UMTV rap show, and one of my best group in Europe back in the days, and still today, it's LoopTroop Rockers. So I write down an email to your label, David versus Goliath.
And still David versus Goliath, still now, right?
Yeah,
exactly. And also I airplay beside my show, UMTV Raps, Fly Away video, which it was in kind of heavy rotation during the MTV Day video clips show. So it was.
It has it.
It was like heavy rotation beside my show. First of all, of course, I airplay in my show, but beside the track, which is amazing, and the video is amazing too. So I write down at your label, and your manager just answered me back, and from that point of view, it was like they sent me all the videos. Also, because we spoke on the backstage, this one got like, I don't know. Okay, take this off. Everybody,
we see that.
Yeah. So this one got like I guess it's 18 years old. It's from 2002. So from that period of time, of course, everybody watched UMTV Raps, and LoopTroop became bigger than they was in Romania. So yeah.
So how was Romania back then? Because it took us almost 4 years to come.
Yeah, because I put your manager in contact with promoters from Romania. It was like 4 years after you guys came here from the first show. But I think it's worth it. I don't know.
It was a great show. I remember the first show. It was in this little gymnastic hall.
Exactly, a big hall. Yeah, that's why I want to ask you if you remember about the first show in Romania. But besides that show, you've been here at Best Festival. Second time.
What's the name?
Best, I think.
Yeah, I remember the first show more actually, because my memory is pretty bad or selective. But I remember that show. There's been maybe too many shows. So.
Yeah, no doubt about it. But I think I should ask this question for the people that are watching. You started as a graph writer, or you just did graffiti simultaneously with MC?
No, I started as a graph writer, but I was really young. I was 10 years old when I did my first piece.
Wow.
Back in
you were
86.
Like in 4th grade, man.
Yeah, but it was, I mean, we did it in my friend's country house, so it was legal. But I think around 89, we started doing illegal graffiti. And I didn't rap until 91. That's when I started rapping. So maybe the years between 91 and 95, I was doing both, like simultaneously. And I kept writing until maybe 98 or 2000. I still do some pieces now, but I mean, around 98, I really slowed down, and in 2000 it was not so much, because then the rap part took over more and more. Because in 98 we started David vs. Goliath. In 2000 we dropped the Modern Day City Symphony album, and we started doing a lot of shows and tours. So I started focusing more on that. But I was never really a good graffiti writer, because I wasn't really focusing on style, and I wasn't really focusing on bombing the most. I was just mostly in it for the social community, you know, hanging out with my close friends and doing graffiti and talking before and after the pieces. So it was actually more important to me.
But your heart remained there, because on every album that you drop, you have a song that's like an ode to this element. You have a beautiful song on this one, on the 2019. It's called "Tattoo the City." It's amazing, and it really touched my heart. And there's a lot of people who appreciate that song in Romania. We have a very strong graffiti movement over here, especially in Bucharest and in other cities.
Yeah. And I guess it was an inspiration for those Warzone Don't Lie also, right? I guess.
Yeah, definitely. And yes, like you say, I have a lot of songs still to this day about graffiti. I think it's because when I write songs that take me back in time, it's often about graffiti, because that's how I grew up, and a lot of my first experiences that were very important to me, they came through graffiti or close to graffiti. Like,
you see, people are remembering. Look at the comments on the show.
Big up.
On the other hand, maybe Andu got a lot of questions for you. I'm pretty sure about this. Let him do the honor.
No, I think it's Bogdan. It's better at this questioning type. But I'm very curious about LoopTroop, a new album from LoopTroop, or I don't know, a single or something.
Yeah, I'm curious about it too. Actually, when we, Cosmic produced the Art of Losing. And actually now on Friday, our second album is coming out. Cosmic produced that as well. It's all in Swedish. So we did those 2 albums back in the summer of 2018 is when we recorded it. But before we did that, I was saying to LoopTroop, to the guys in LoopTroop, like, oh, we should make an album. But I couldn't really get the other people enthusiastic enough. So Cosmic was enthusiastic, but he just started making beats. So we said, okay, let's make some songs. We didn't say like we're gonna make 2 albums. We just, I don't know how far I need to go back, but yeah, I was saying that I was trying to get LoopTroop on board already in the summer of 2018 when I recorded The Art of Losing, and I recorded the new album coming out on Friday in Swedish. And I didn't have any success, but now I've been lobbying the LoopTroop Rockers. So we're gonna probably start recording something this summer. We're gonna start sending stuff back and forth, like ideas and music, because we're all spread out over the country. We have Supreme living in Malmö in the south, and B is in Stockholm, and Cosmic is in Västerås. Right now I'm in the countryside in the south, but I usually live in the west, in Gothenburg.
So
Crazy.
So why did you take the why did you guys wanted to do an album in Swedish? I mean, you got like popular all over the world with the singing in English, and you felt like it's about time to do something. Actually, your latest single is in Swedish.
Yeah, I've actually put out 2 or 3 albums in Swedish before this, and LoopTroop has 1 album in Swedish as well. So it's not the first time. I mean, the reason is it's very different to write in English compared to Swedish, because I usually make this comparison that when I write in English, it's from the brain, and in Swedish, it's from the heart, because it's so much easier and it just comes natural. Even though I really like writing in English. Say again?
Because it's your native language, of course. So
yes. Yeah, definitely. But I mean, I grew up speaking Swedish, but then from when I started listening to hip hop, you know, English has also been a part of my life. So
speaking of which, and sorry to interrupt, when you started, do you have any MCs or public figures that influenced you during your whole career, your flow, your rhymes, or whatever? You had like some models from the States?
Yeah,
we are very curious about that.
Yeah, but you know, I'm not gonna give you any names that you don't already know, because
okay.
I was listening to the same thing as everybody else. But started out with a lot of Public Enemy, a lot of Boogie Down Productions, NWA. Even before that, you know, it was a lot of strange rap that, you know, when I go back to it now, I'm like, this is no good. But back then it was like, oh, everything was fresh. Like, I don't know, the Fat Boys or Bismarck Key, like a lot of Beastie Boys, a lot of, I don't know, different from different times. Then when it was Ice Cube. But then when I got into writing more myself, I was really inspired by Redman, and then when we started doing a lot of live shows, I was really inspired by The Roots and by Science Super Crew from France. So there's been so many inspirations in different stages of life, and as you know, developing as an artist myself. So.
I'm curious because I know how hip hop in Romania grew up. I'm curious when hip hop in Sweden grew up, in the 90s, in the 80s, or 85, exactly 90s.
Yeah,
I don't
80s. Know. I got into it in 86, like I said. That's when I started writing graffiti, but also when I started listening to the music. But I was 10, so the people that were a little older, they got into it even earlier in the 80s. But we didn't have really access, or not easy access to the music, but there was always somebody flying to London, buying some records, buying fat laces and bringing it back to, and we studied the books, the Style Wars. No, Style Wars was the movie, and the subway art and the spray can art. So it's like, I don't know, it was almost like some kind of Bibles for us.
That's why I was curious, because everything for a country like Romania and all the countries from East European bloc, it was locked down before 1990. So even if we want to get in touch with any kind of culture, we couldn't do that. So all we can do, it was after 1990.
Yeah.
Because
we had like few people that were managing to smuggle records from outside the curtain, and they were looked as gods to us, because it's like you're always having. I remember in the 80s when not everybody had a VCR, so when you had a VCR, you were like a god in your building, and everybody was coming to your apartment to watch videos. It's like they don't even asking anymore. They were like knocking on the door, can we see some videos? And because when you got a VCR and stuff like that. So these guys were like very few, and usually their parents were like pilots or diplomats and something like that.
So they became the first superstar DJs.
Yeah, just like Docs had a lot of had records back then.
That's so cool.
Actually, I got a records through the pilots, and Stewart did also.
What kind of records?
Actually, the first record that I had it was D Nice on the vinyl.
My name is D Nice.
Yeah.
Actually, is the first vinyl that I have. Actually, the album, it was released in 1988, and I got it in Romania in 1991, something like this. So, but like I told you, everything, it was locked down for country like Romania and all the country from East Bloc, like Bulgaria, whatever, Yugoslavia. And that's why I was curious when hip hop culture started in Sweden, for example, because it was, of course, it was different than in Romania.
Yeah, it was different, of course, definitely, but in a way similar too, because we didn't know how to get the music. There was maybe, it was possible, so it was different in that way, but it was still hard. So it was similar too, because there was maybe one store in Stockholm, and we were too young to go to Stockholm, so we couldn't really. And in the TV shows had only two channels, and they did show Style Wars once, but you weren't really prepared for it. So I didn't see it when they showed it the first time, but I know a lot of kids did, and they didn't know what graffiti was, but the same evening they were out trying it, and so it's funny how I think about it a lot. It's funny how hip hop grew in Sweden, because we didn't really know what it was. We just got glimpses of it from these books and these movies, but we weren't a part of it. So we kind of like made our own version of it. So it's in a way, I think it was good that we didn't get everything, because if you get fed everything, you don't really get creative enough. So we were trying to find different caps to put on the spray cans to make fat caps, and now you can just buy the fat cap. And I'm not saying it's wrong, it's the way things have to evolve, but it was funny to just experiment a lot.
What was the further place from home that you performed?
The first time, Or you mean
the further point from your home where you perform.
okay, but through all times.
Yeah, through all times, right?
We played in Japan. We played in Cuba. And we played in Thailand, but Thailand was more. We played for a lot of Swedish tourists. But in Cuba was it's kind of a different place. Do you hear the delay?
Yeah,
Yes, I hear it. Let's hope
it's kind of annoying.
it will not bother us anymore. It's because of the many people that want to access the link, and I think we were not prepared for this kind of reaction.
Yeah, I'm really happy that people are interested.
Yes, and
I was looking forward to coming to Romania this summer. I hope the festival is still on, but nobody knows.
It's in August.
Yeah,
it's in August, and we don't know.
Yeah, we'll see.
So it's true what this guy is saying, that I want to see Promo at Sunset Festival, right?
Yeah. I want to go
That was the
there.
spot.
Yeah, that's the one.
I think you're gonna like this place because it's like our Amsterdam in Romania. It's called Vama Veche.
Oh, okay.
Okay, it's by the seaside.
I don't smoke.
Oh yeah, no problem. No problem. None of us do actually right now. None of us four do. I think. Yeah. Okay, you guys want to try it again in order to get rid of the echo? Can we have one?
Maybe it's just flavor with the echo.
Okay. Okay. So, guys, if you have any questions, because I have one, but I'll let you do it.
Yeah, I have one question, Promo. I read in one interview with you about you are studying the law.
Yeah.
Right? And
Undo has no echo. Okay, ask me the question.
Yes, you are still studying the law. I think you are telling that you are in other city to study or something.
Yeah, definitely. I'm on the 8th semester out of 9, so I'm really getting towards the end now. So next semester I'm just gonna write a long essay. So it's I see the end in the tunnel now.
You are going to become a lawyer?
I don't know what I will do. I haven't really decided yet, but I've through the course I've been more interested in maybe doing research. But now when I think about it, I think more broadly. So it could also be lawyer, maybe go back and forth between lawyering and research, because if you're doing research, you can be more critical. You can be just from the outside saying, okay, this is wrong. And if you're a lawyer, you're going to be like, this is wrong, but I still have to abide to it, So we'll see what I can do.
So is this going to affect your artistic career? I mean, it's like your time spent writing and doing concerts will like decrease?
Yeah, I think it has already affected it through the time of like these 4 years that I've been studying. I haven't been able to write the same amount of songs. I used to write every day before, but now I just read every day. So it's affected it, but it comes kind of at the same time that, my popularity and LoopTroop's popularity is slowed down anyway, so it's fine, I need to also do something else with my time.
Can you see the comment right here for a Sunset Festival?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say that it's not happening. It could still happen. So I don't have any info on it. I just really know that I want to go. So I hope it's gonna be a better situation then.
We are Romanians and we're not optimistic by nature, but anyway, we will definitely want everything to go on as planned, because we are sick and tired of staying at home. We're doing that for 1 month, I think, and we have to do it for 1 month extra, and we don't know what's coming after that month. So basically the whole bunch of festivals just postponed or saying that they're not holding it anymore or whatever. We should. But I suppose you have the same situation with other bookings that you have, right?
Yeah, it's the same. I think, like, I've been in contact with some of the smaller summer festivals that we're doing in Sweden, and they're just waiting to see what's gonna happen. But for the bigger festivals, it might be harder because they need to communicate at an earlier stage, like what's gonna happen or not. So
I know, and there's a lot of people who already bought tickets, because when you're talking about big festivals, it's like everybody's just trying to get the early bird tickets and stuff that's cheaper. So did you guys talk? Did you guys have a meeting with LoopTroop and settle up what are you going to do after the lockdown it's released?
yeah, we had this meeting that I was talking about earlier. We talked about starting recording a new album, and also we're also focusing on expanding the David versus Goliath label, maybe bringing on some other artists, because so far we just more or less released our own stuff, but now, you know, we have more time, and we also have it's easier for us to distribute music through digitally now than it was once. So we have a lot of experience, and we can help out other artists. So we're gonna probably do more of that as well.
You should speak more often with them, because actually you guys have a lot of fans here in Romania. So
yeah.
You have a big fan community right here. So as you see, there's people even in this chat room. They already bought the tickets especially to see you, because I think, Andu, did they announce the lineup for Sunset?
Yes. I think or partly all the headliners, I think.
Okay, so who's coming in besides Promo?
I don't know, one moment.
If you can tell us, it will be a great thing. But do you have any shows coming up with the LoopTroop? Do you had this summer? You had, I suppose.
Yeah, but they were in Sweden.
Oh, okay.
We don't know what's happening with them. We're still waiting to hear the answers.
Okay, we wish you guys very good luck, and everybody wants to see you on stage. I can guarantee you that. And speaking about the latest single that you have a single that's in Swedish. Are you gonna have an English version for it, or just stays in Swedish?
Yeah, it's just in Swedish. It's not really possible to translate the song. But actually the two albums, The Art of Losing and this new one, which is called Spöken, which means ghosts.
Okay.
More or less, I see them as brothers and sisters, these two albums, because they were recorded in the same period, and they're about almost the same topics, but so it's not translations, but it deals with the same ideas. So you guys have already heard it on the Art of Losing.
Oh, okay. What do you mean by snap bill? What does that mean?
What I mean? Oh, snap beat. It means fast car.
Fast car. Oh, well,
yeah.
Okay.
So it's sort of a remake or a tribute to this Tracy Chapman. I have a fast car. You have a plan to take us out of here. So that's I kind of translated it.
Okay, that's nice, because I listened to the song, but I didn't understand actually 2 or 3 words. And the only thing I know in Swedish is Sverige, I think. It's the name of the country, because I used to love ice hockey and I was supporting Sweden.
Cool. Back in what year?
I think I watched the 2000 championship. You had a pretty strong team back then.
Yeah.
But you eliminated us in '94 in the World Cup in football. So
Bogdan is a huge fan of football, so that's why he knows everything about it.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, and I have a question for you. I don't know what do you think, but I'm just curious. What do you think about nowadays music? I mean, especially I refer to trap / hip hop, rap, whatever. How you see in your point of view, and maybe you just see some actually good MCs nowadays. If you don't want to tell the names, okay, I understand. But I'm curious about your opinion about music nowadays.
Yeah. I get this question a lot, and I'm
really sure about it.
Yeah, I really hate my answer, but I just gotta be true because I don't really listen that much to music.
It was a friendly question. So.
Yeah, I know. No, but I mean, as a musician, you know, maybe I should listen more to music, but I don't. I guess I've had like a period of time where I collected records and I listened to music all the time, and it really spoke to my heart. And maybe the music at this moment in time isn't really speaking to my heart. So I'm sure it's gonna come back, but right now, actually, I don't really listen to that much music. If I put on some music, I would probably put on some of the old stuff, and it's not. I don't think it's because necessarily because the music is bad or anything. It can just be. It just doesn't resonate with me. So
exactly, I feel you 100%.
Yeah.
We all feel the same in this room, except for Andu, who's a professional DJ and who's like has to be updated. But anyway, don't you find yourself like on a trap beat or something that's more fresh nowadays?
If I want to rap on that kind of music, you mean?
If you imagine yourself on a beat like that.
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine that, but I do it sometimes, but I prefer the more dirty and the more heavy drums and because I'm not really a fan of the very fast hi-hat, that thing.
And the 808s, I suppose.
I mean, the 808's been around for so long, so I'm not really dissing the 808. It's a great sound, but of course sometimes it can get too much. But I like the 808. It's cool. I mean, I remember when I used to hear it first, like from Miami bass kind of music, and it's always fresh. But
and it's on a lot of classic songs.
Say what?
It's on a lot of classic songs. The 808. Yeah. I mean, actually, Docs explained to us where it came from, and it was the model of Roland. Actually, it was a Roland like org, I think, and from then everything went on. But Africa Bambaataa used it, and a lot of cats who dig that. But Miami bass, actually, I think they were like fans, like 100% fans.
I actually remember hearing music similar to hip hop music the first time. Me and my brother, he's 3 years older, we were sitting in a closet. I was like, I think I was 8 years old or something, and we got the, what do you call it? The long wave radio, like not
Oh
the
yeah,
FM
yeah,
radio.
we have that here.
We were messing around trying to find
Trying
other
to
kind
catch
of
the
channels.
Russians, right?
Yeah. But I think we might have gotten a German channel or something, and there was a song by Kraftwerk. It was the one that they sampled for Looking for the Perfect Beat later on, that Africa Bombata and the Soul Sonic Force used. So, so that was the first time that I heard something that was like
Similar.
It was, yeah, I didn't know then because it was later on that I heard the sample, but it really was. I still have that memory because it made an effect that. At once, because the sound was so fresh and was so different. Hey,
that's my little kid. Okay, so go ahead.
No, I remember right now the track with you and on a Prop Dylan LP Live Mission. It was like 2 years ago. It's an amazing song and a great video. I remember right now.
Yeah, thanks.
Prop Dylan also, it's one of amazing MC from Sweden.
Yeah, he's
an
great.
incredible MC, actually. He was in Bucharest too, I think 2 years ago.
All right.
He was at a festival.
He's a hard worker.
Yeah,
he's been on tour with us too, and he's a great person. So, and a good rapper.
Of course, and he told us about the song produced by DJ Premier, that he sent the request like 1 year in advance, and suddenly after 1 year and a half, Primo just emailed him, "Yo, let's do it." He was like, he had no expectation, so he was sending that like 1 year in advance, and he got the response, and it was a dope song. But anyway, the album, the latest release, it's incredible, man. You guys still edit on vinyl in Sweden?
What do you mean edit?
You still do records on vinyl, right? Because everybody.
Yeah, the Art of Losing was on vinyl, but the new Swedish album is only digital.
So how do you feel about that? Is vinyl a dead end, or
no? It's definitely it's not dead, but we have to, or for us at least, we can only make small editions,
Batches.
like like maybe 300 or 500 copies. So it didn't make sense to do it for the Swedish album because the market is very small and people are they just listen to the digital outlets anyway. Some of them buy the vinyl to just have it, but we didn't do it this time. But we did it for the Art of Losing, and we're doing a lot of cassettes now. I don't know if you've seen it, but you have the 93 feet beats. So it's like a series of a lot of Swedish producers and also other countries too. Budo from the States had one release.
DJ Large, and so it started, I think, with MB.
No, I think DJ Large was the first.
Yes.
MB came a little later, and we just released the new one last week with chords.
Oh, with chords?
Yeah.
Nice. What's the name?
It's called
but it's not already on the.
It's not digital yet, but it's coming on digital. Okay. We released the cassette, and then the digital comes a little later. So the cassette is coming back.
Because I have a playlist with all the 4 releases, I think, already.
Yeah, and there are more than 4 releases. Actually, Prop Dylan has a producer name. He's Gravy Sparks when he produces. He also, I didn't see that on there, so maybe you should add that too.
Yeah, thanks.
Bogdan, we have
so Prop Dylan has an alter ego?
Yeah, Gravy Sparks. And he released a beat tape with us, 93 feet beats.
Nice.
It's really nice.
That's cool. Bogdan, we still have some questions from audience or not?
From the audience, no. It's just like everybody is appreciating the show. Hold on the show, and we have a question right now. I'm gonna show it to you on the screen.
Okay, so rap or reggae? I wouldn't really choose, but I would more say like hip hop and rap is like my language, my first language, my native tongue, as you say. What I grew up with, and then a little later I started listening to reggae and dancehall, and it's been a big inspiration. I've been to Jamaica to record twice, both for the Long Distance Runner album and the White Man's Garden album, and I actually also did a little movie about the second time we went there, called The Standard Bearer. So it's definitely been a big inspiration. And like if I would put on some music now, it's usually some Gregory Isaacs or something like that. But still, hip hop is like the easiest way for me to express myself, and then sprinkle a little bit of reggae on top of it.
You have a lot of good influences on the hip hop beats and the interpretation. It's kind of unique.
Yeah, it's a good mix. Yeah.
How's Jamaica for you? You can consider Jamaica like your second country or something like this?
No, not really. It was. I mean, it's a great country, of course, for the music. I love the music, but it's not. It wasn't really for me to be there because it's too hard. It's like I want to be able to not plan where to go. I just want to go and improvise. But with Jamaica, you got to be really careful. You have to plan, like, okay, I'm going to this place. How am I gonna get there, and which way should we take? And I don't want to think about those things. But it also reflects how privileged I am, like where I'm from, and like a lot of women, definitely, like all over the world, they have to think that thought all the time, like is this a safe place to go or not? So
yeah, I feel it.
Yeah, so I'm privileged to say it, but still I have to be honest and say that it was too hard to be there for me, compared to maybe Cuba, which is just the island next to Jamaica, where it's completely different. And I've been there many times, and you know, it's really safe, and it's but it still has its problems, of course. It's not a...
Of course. Can I ask you a question about the 219 material? I just wanted to make sure the single was Dogmatics for the entire material.
Dogmatics.
The official single, right?
Yeah,
for the
but
material, because that's what I received from your manager.
Yeah, but we also made the Tattoo the City as a single, and the Art of Losing as a single too.
My favorite is Tattoo the City. It's actually the most touching song. Guys, questions?
Nah, but I'm curious about yeah, okay, let's put it in this way. Actually, I grew up with hip hop mostly when I was a teenager, but I discovered jazz music and funk, which is, in my point of view, is the backbone for many different styles of music. I don't know if you grew up also with or you discovered after hip hop, jazz and funk, or you grew up with them.
No, I discovered it after, like through the samples and.
Same here.
Yeah, so it took a while for me to, but it was a big thing to start digging for like, oh, so what's the sample? Oh, so this is how it sounds like.
Exactly.
If it was James Brown or if it was Parliament or Funkadelic, and then the list went on, and I didn't really go as deep as a lot of producers did, but I did Yeah, don't forget to mention Professor P, DJ Killers. Yeah, man.
Exactly.
Really good Swedish artists.
We are making efforts to have them right here in the show, because we met them like I think we hang around like 3 times, because we met in a festival in Transylvania, and then we got closed. These 2 people, they are incredible. I mean, they had like vinyls with them. They were like giving free stuff and stuff like that. They were just having a good time.
Yeah, they're really good people.
I know. We are following them on the social networks.
And actually, they was here in Bucharest too. They had a concert 2 years ago, I guess. Huh? 2 years ago, yeah.
So it's like
I understand.
Your turn.
It was the same. You discover jazz and hip hop, true hip hop, after you listen to hip hop. Okay. So
yeah, because the music I heard.
Exactly.
Yeah, the music I heard before hip hop was my parents' music, and they used to listen to a lot of progressive rock and Bob Dylan and stuff like that. So it wasn't until after I heard hip hop. And my older brother, he used to listen to heavy metal. So it was different kind of music in my home before hip hop.
I'm curious, what was the first MC that you heard back in the days when you was like a teenager and really blow up your mind?
The first what?
The first MC that you heard when you was a teenager and really blow up your mind. If you remember, of course, it was a long time.
And you're not allowed to say Tone Loc, okay?
But maybe I would say I really remember my philosophy with Boogie Down Productions and KRS-One.
It's not about a salary, yeah.
Yeah, so I remember the video, like the black and white video, and like the leather jackets they had. And,
that's a classic one.
Yeah. So I'm not sure if it was the first, because I'm sure that we heard a lot of other stuff before that, but that kind of stuck to my mind. And also, I mean, thinking about your T-shirt there, in '89, I listened to a lot of Step in the Arena, and we had this radio show called Soul Corner, and this was the outlet for a lot of hip hop music back then, when we couldn't really find so many records. And
who made that show?
Yeah, his name is Mats Nileskär. He's still active, still doing a lot of interviews with anything from hip hop to soul to all kind of music. Or I mean,
actually, it was kind of promoter of hip hop in Sweden. Through the radio, right?
Yeah. I mean, he was a journalist, and he was really deep in the music, and he had been doing it before hip hop came, so he was already in that kind of music. And then when hip hop came, he started making more like specialized hip hop shows. And I remember he did interviews with Gang Starr and with Boogie Down Productions back in '89. And I remember that summer. I was out in the countryside with my parents, and I was just listening to his radio show. I put it on cassette. I listened back to it. I had been listening to hip hop for some years, but this was when I started understanding more. I didn't get the whole thing, but I started understanding, like, okay, so this is about something. This is could be about something political or about emancipating yourself. So I remember growing in '89 to that music.
So we have a question from the audience right now. Let people get their answers. Sorry for bothering. Are you usually singing alone at your gigs or with a band?
I've done a lot of different types of shows. I mean, most of the shows have been with LoopTroop, so that's with the band, of course. But when I do solo shows, I've done anything from, like, a lot of the first promo shows was with Supreme and DJ Large, like the one we did in Bucharest.
You had 2 backing vocalists, I think. I remember well.
Yeah, that was Jeppe and Lynn. Yeah.
Yeah, they were impressive.
Yeah. So that was actually then a mix of 2 kind of shows, because back in 2004 with the Long Distance Runner album, it was just me, Supreme, and Large. But then I felt like, okay, this is a little too similar to LoopTroop, so I need to kind of find my own path a little. So I did the White Man's Burden tour was with those 2 backing singers and then we kind of mixed it, I guess, or put it together. Because I have a slight memory that Supreme was there, but maybe he wasn't. No, okay.
In Bucharest,
okay, so
you came with DJ Large and 2 backing vocalists, and DJ Large was actually the funniest man in your delegation. Everybody loved him at the after party and at the show.
Yeah, he's a good guy. I mean, he can sometimes go the other way as well, but you know, mostly he's a good ambassador.
No, it was mad funny. So we have another question. It's from a guy that produces. It's a very good Romanian producer. Is there any producers who you would like to work with? If you had, like, now on the table, you have Scott Storch, Just Blaze, and Premiere and something.
I never really thought about it that way, you know. Maybe like when I was younger, I would dream of having a Premiere song, but like after working a lot, for me it was always more into finding a connection and like becoming friends and then working together and making music. So I'm more into that, you know. I'm more into really spending time together, not this sending back and forth, and just because it's a famous and really good producer, it doesn't really matter. Or it doesn't have to be a long time either, because sometimes, you know, I go to another country and I just meet with a producer and we have a good vibe and we record a song. But I prefer to do it together, like in the studio, more than, because right now I don't even have a studio at my home anyway, so it's better for me to meet with somebody and to find a vibe. And it doesn't have to be anybody famous, and it doesn't have to be like the most dopest producer. It just has to be a dope producer to me and a dope person.
So if like Pete Rock wanted to work with you, you have to do a barbecue to read something and then you're okay, right? You're on the same wave with us, man. It's the same way we are feeling. We are used to hanging around with each other, and everybody, somebody comes up with an idea, and the MC goes, "Oh, I have a verse for that," and then somebody else comes in, "I have a scratch for that," and whatever. This is teamwork and good vibing.
Yeah, I mean, of course, it would be different if somebody else would approach me and it was somebody that I had grown up with or looked up to, but for me to try to search for producers, you know, I don't really do that, because I have producers really close to me already. So, and then maybe, you know, new things can happen too, but I'm not searching that way.
Okay, so how are you guys actually going to work for this new material? You guys are like sending through the emails or to the internet ideas, materials and stuff like that, and then you gather up and record?
Yeah, I think that,
like individually?
No, we're gonna, when we do the recording, we're gonna do it together. So we're just gonna start with sending ideas, and then when we're ready to record, it's a lot better to do it together. in MB studio, because he's got the best equipment, and it's nice to be there together and just, you know, you have the different ideas, but then when you put them together, it becomes bigger than each separate part.
So spending time together is the key.
Yeah, if it's possible, you know, it's not like when we were 20, you know.
That's cool. Speaking about that, I remember right now, off the record, it's the track that really blew up my mind back in the days.
Was that the first song you heard from me?
No, it was that track really blew up my mind back in the days of the record, and I'm just curious if it's a story behind that track. How did you make it? Because like I told you, nowadays I just listened 2 days ago. Actually,
there is a
story behind that track.
Yeah.
I'm curious.
There is a long story behind that track, but I'm gonna give it to you, and I'm not sure if it's interesting to you because it has more to do with Sweden than.
It doesn't matter. I'm curious.
Yeah. So this is what happened. This was like back in '98. I was living in Stockholm at that time, and we always went to a record store called Street Level Records to buy our records, and there was some guys there making some beats, and they had a studio too, and he just bought a record from a record collector guy, and before this guy sold him the record, he also recorded it on a tape, on a cassette. And the guy bought the record, the person that I knew, and he said, okay, I'm gonna make a beat from this sample, because this sample is incredible.
Amazing. Yeah.
And we went to the studio to record off the record, and the same week, another Swedish rapper called Rushak, he got the cassette, like the recorded cassette from the same album. He got that from the guy who sold the record, and he made a song called Suckers on the same beat. And we met in the studio, and we were like, oh shit, we're doing a song on the same beat. Oh, that's cool. So we both knew that we did it around the same time. But he came out with his song really fast. And my song took like a year to come out. I think it came out in '99. And my second verse starts with me saying, suckers, if I cross you out with this, you win a rhyme. Take it as a compliment. I think you're worth the ink and the time. And so people around, like in the Swedish scene, they were like, oh, he has the same beat, and he's dissing him by saying suckers that way, because I said it like that. But I hadn't even heard his song when I knew he was recording on the same beat, but I hadn't heard it then. So, and then it was like a big beef in the Swedish hip hop community because of that, because people were already really irritated at LoopTroop because we didn't come from Stockholm, but we were kind of, you know, making noise, and we were claiming our space, and people were like, nah, we don't like those guys. And then, you know, I came out saying that, and they were like, oh, he's dissing you and blah, blah, blah. So, and this guy knew I wasn't dissing him, but I guess maybe his friends kind of talked him into thinking that it was a diss or something. So the vibe was pretty bad at that time. But the funny thing was that the off the record song, that was my first hit outside of Sweden. So like I remember seeing it on DJ charts in Germany, because we used to buy the Backspin magazine, and they made like different kind of DJ charts, and the off the record was on the top charts of all of those DJs back then, and it was big in different countries. So
I have. It's amazing story. I told you. I think it's a story behind that track. But the funny thing with your track, it was like a few years ago. I was the DJ from Camp Low, and when they doing the sound check. Okay, they do the sound check with their tracks, and I put off the record beat and I started scratching over, and they was like, man, what the fuck, what? Who? It's your beat? No, man, it's promo from LoopTroop. Man, shit, can you give us the beat? Yeah, man, of course. Okay, take it.
You have to give promo like $5,000, but it's okay.
Yeah, but anyway, they didn't ask me to perform over that beat because they like the beat. Okay, can you give us the beat? Okay, I'm gonna call promo if he wants to give you the beat also. But it was funny because I started scratching over the beat and they asked me about it. So I was pretty sure it's a story behind that track on your side. Thank you about sharing with us.
Yeah, man. I remember going to Belgium with the DJ who made that beat, and I was really, at that time I was only performing with LoopTroop, so I wasn't really used to doing my own shows. And they were like, no, but you have to come and perform this track. So we went to do a show, and it was more or less just that song and maybe one more. And I was also very unused to that too, because we always did like longer shows. But it was a good time.
DJ Technique.
Yeah, Technique. He was the producer. Yeah, and he's the one who scratches on it. And on the B-side, actually, we have a song by Mighty Mai from the High and Mighty. Yeah.
Home field advantage, right?
Yeah.
Well, when I first listened to this beat from off the record, I was like, it's definitely a New York joint. So I wasn't even imagining that this was European. So I asked Doc, so what the fuck is that? And he was like, okay, it's promo. And I was like, who is promo? And he was like, the LoopTroop? Oh, yeah, I got it. But it sounded so New York to me.
Yeah, but the lyrics were like not really New York. It was like a Danish guy getting drunk in Sweden. No New Yorker would have said that.
No, but actually I was hearing only the beat, the instrumental part. So then he played me the song and I was like, yo, that's European, right? But you Scandinav people, you talk like without an accent. I mean, it's like you're talking very correct, just like the Dutch people, and we have few Nordic people that talk like that. Because if you go to Germany, they speak English like with a different accent. That turns them up. That they're not Americans or English. But what is the percent in your country that speaks English? I mean, 50% or something?
I don't know. I think most people do, because
you most do, right?
Yeah, we learn from school. I think the difference is that the Swedish country is so, or the Swedish language is so small. So we need to learn other languages to be able to communicate with the rest of the world. And French people or German people don't really have that same. They don't have to. Like they can.
They have a big ego. They
have a big market on their own. You know, they don't have to get out there. So that's always been our both for LoopTroop, but also just Sweden in general. People just need to learn other countries, other languages to be able to communicate. So.
Okay, so if you guys are okay, everybody's happy. We are very sorry that we dropped off the line and everybody just like felt used or whatever.
No problem.
Yeah. Thank you very much for your patience, and you're like the nicest person in the Scandinavian peninsula, actually, because you're like so patient with us, and even the first time we interviewed you were like so kind and answering all my questions and everything. Everybody, as you noticed, loves you here. So we will expect you shortly to do a show with LoopTroop or a solo act.
Yeah, I hope so too. The love is mutual. So I'm really looking forward to coming back.
Thanks a lot, my brother.
Yeah, man. Take care.
Bye.
See you next time.
Happy quarantine for everybody.
Stay safe and healthy.
Bye.
Yeah, man.
Peace.